Asha di Indodoriara, Shakadrisha Shungo Shatakata Andosho Ndwara, Shakadinda Shatata.
Daw smagrach and orand agretu, greta gretu gremakiata da ansja. Suk bakret and nakiatan to greta nesiu, mante gretorisia makiata da.
Lovely. I wish you told me that yesterday as well. Nicola Light, lovely to have you on my channel. For
Thank you.
those who don't know you, I'm just going to do a quick synopsis. Nicola is popping up everywhere at this moment in time. She was on, I think it was Soul to Soul, and that guy has 1.2 million subscribers.
Yeah, New Soul podcast,
Yeah,
New Level Soul
New
podcast.
Level Soul.
Alexander Ferrari.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And you were on Life After Death and NDE and some other thing, and you're just popping up all over the place.
Mm,
You live in Sweden, but you're over here all the time. We just spoke at a conference, an amazing conference that was so much fun in Glastonbury,
yeah.
just recently.
Mhm.
And you're basically exploding right now. Everywhere I look, including even the conferences I'm speaking at, you're on all these big channels and just like going. So, um, what people probably don't realize is that we're actual friends in real life. We actually know each other as well. But I thought I'd just fill in a little bit of the backdrop, and I thought it would be really great to have you on my channel just because you're very relevant. But you're one of those people who's out there. You're a galactic coder. You work with the Mantis. You channel the Mantis. You do healing. You do reading. You do private sessions. You help develop people's template coding.
Mhm.
I've had a session with you and crazy. Like I was actually seeing what you were doing as you would take. You took me out into another galaxy, some other place, and I could see what you were feeling as it was happening, and it was just nuts.
Yeah.
And lastly, the last thing I want to say is, for those who haven't seen it, there's a video of you that's going viral across the internet right now. And if you haven't seen it, go to Nicola's Facebook or wherever it is. But it's Nicola's very famous intro. She walked into this conference. This is Me by The Greatest Showman. She came onto that song and did this unbelievable dance, dressed almost like an elven princess. And people just erupted at this conference. Honestly, I was on after you, and I was looking at you, going, right, I don't know how I'm even going to go on stage now and headline this thing. Like, I'm done. I'm not even going to go on stage now. And when you got on stage, literally, you had the audience in the palm of your hands. You could have heard a pin drop. And at that point, I was like, right, she's coming on my channel immediately. And so me and you like to talk a bit about little light language together, and so I work with the Mantis. I don't work with them exclusively the way that you do, but so just to get the ball rolling, because I'd love people to know a little bit about you and your galactic nurse. You work with the Mantis. How did that start? How do you use it, and what's it like?
Mm, mm.
Anything you fancy throwing out there, basically.
Yeah. Mantis, Mantis, Mantis. Honestly, Mantis is my absolute strength and this beautiful alignment to such intelligence. The insectoid races are are very, very powerful beings, but they don't actually hold an awful lot of humor. From my perspective, they are very straight-laced, they are to the point, they're very precise. They work in the DNA structure of the body. They assist almost like a sense of a like a psychic surgeon. So if I'm working with people with issues with their ascension symptom or the DNA, especially with ancestral lines as well, they can come in with that. But the my mantis that I work with is very much assists me in almost like a guarding of my energy. That I know if I'm going to go into really dense energy into somebody's energetic field that has been a little bit um, compromised, shall we say, infiltrated, then I bring in Mantis straight away, and I get this. It's almost like an armadillo type of suit that comes in that really sort of fortifies my light. So my Mantis and me, as we work together, work grid works as well. So we do mission grid work as well. And so we align together and it's super powerful, Mantis, and your integration of Mantis. I know of a couple of other people that I've helped integrate their Mantis. And when we do, it is all powerful. It is all powerful. But people's ideas of that within their mind, if you think of an insectoid, you think, oh, that's a little bit like creepy. But they're not. They're so powerful and they're all for humanity. I love
Well,
them so dearly.
do you know what? We were in Glastonbury at a friend's house, at a mutual friend's house, Shirley.
Mm.
And you said to me, I think it was about 2 years ago, you said, right, the mantis have just come in for you. You're used to working with the Arcturian energy. You haven't quite integrated the mantis yet, and I'm just going to help you integrate it. And you started coding with your hands like this. Um, and I felt this thing going like this, and I went, "Whoa." And it was a Sunday, and I was in Glastonbury, and I've been just doing some self work, and so I've been up the Tor and Wiriel Hill and stuff in Glastonbury, and the download was so intense
Mm.
that I got in my car to drive back to London from Glastonbury. And do you remember I couldn't leave? I had to book in another night at the hotel at the Pilgrim's
Yes.
Arms. I was I was like not present. I felt like I'd like I don't know what it was just such. So I ended up staying another night in Glastonbury.
Mm.
So when people say like when you're upgrading someone's template or whatever, I mean it's not a metaphorical kind of like comical thing. I mean it's serious.
It is
It has
really,
serious physical
yeah.
repercussions.
Yeah, absolutely. And the energy that I work with is very forceful in many ways. And some people, if they're not ready for it to a degree, maybe a lesson or an experience within it, to experience it is to then totally understand it.
Mm.
So the power with the code that comes in from that level of consciousness can knock you off your feet quite literally, like it did yourself. And especially with such fast energy, it takes time to integrate it into the system. So when you get the multidimensional aspect integration, it tends to sort of offset the human body for a little bit, and it might upset the energy, but it soon settles into normality. So now you've integrated Mantis, you know the power of it, but initially sometimes you can perceive it to be a bit strange. But how do you feel now about your Mantis?
Well, funnily enough, I actually have a adult mantis that I work with and a baby mantis that's coming as well. But yeah, but I'm the same as you. My see during client sessions, I work with now the Andromedans, the Mantis, and the Arcturians. But just like you said, I was trying to do a surgical procedure on a client back in the day,
Mm,
and I couldn't figure out how the hell to figure it out. And they wanted me to, they paid me a lot of money for like half a day, for like 4 hours. And they wanted me to do psychic surgery on them. And they asked me to do something I didn't know how to do.
hmm
So instead of sitting there thinking, how do I do this? What I did was I said to my Arcturian, can you show me how to do this? Because that my Arcturian showed me how to do soul fragmentation retrieval, entity removal, all these things.
mm,
And I said to my Arcturian during the session, can you show me how to do this particular thing that this woman wants me to do?
mm.
And my Arcturian said, wait 1 second, I'm going to facilitate something else that needs to come in for this psychic surgery to help you do it. And then this mantis being that I'd met only just like not around the time when you helped me integrate it, this 12 foot tall green and brown mantis being comes into the session
Wow.
and goes, right, I'm going to show you how to do this. And I've got pins and needles, I'm getting tingles just talking about it.
Yeah.
And the mantis goes, right. And there were two of them there. And then they took my client's light body up to like a craft, put it on a bed.
Hmm.
And they basically said, right, sunshine, you're going to school. Watch this. And they started scanning the body and taught me how to look for implants, physical and non-physical, how to do psychic surgery, how to scan the body. And they were like pointing, look at this, look at this. We're showing you, look at this. The thing is, I'm very visual, so I see everything that's happening. I
Yeah.
see the and the mantis. They I mean, I could talk all day about it, but I want to come back to you in a moment. But so, how do I feel about my mantis? It that they for me they can sometimes when we're not doing work they can be very playful, but when there's something to be
Yeah.
done, it's you're at school, you
Yeah.
watch us, we're going to
Yeah.
show you how this is done, make sure you're looking like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they also help me learn about DNA release. So I had a client who felt like after they'd taken oxycodone,
Hmm.
like something had attached to their DNA.
Mm.
And again, it was the mantis that said, let us show you how this works.
Mm. Mm.
So,
Yeah. Super powerful. Super powerful. The other galactic alliances that I have is with the Arcturians, like yourself. And I work with those probably very similar to you, where they upgrade templates. They work very fast. So I work with my voice and my hands in code.
mm.
And and all of this. And if anybody
Can
sort
we
of,
see it?
yeah, you're
Can
Dutch.
we watch you go?
Okay, shumadigidagana shumadigidagana. So that's a dialect of the voice. Shumadigidagana. And then if we sort of like look at the codex, it's very sort of it's very like this. And it's like if you could imagine like a code here, it's one of my beautiful coders that I've worked with in the past. You can sort of see the sort of the codes that have lots of dots and dashes and things like that.
Do
It's
you draw that yourself?
no, this was actually done by Desiree.
Oh, the Desiree, that's the
Yeah,
woman who married you.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so Desiree did that, but I integrated her light code years ago. So we worked together for a long time, but now she's coding things like this. Um, and when the hands sort of code like this, it's almost like for anybody that's not familiar with code as such to such a degree, it's like if you're aware of Reiki, and you've got the chakra
Yeah,
ray.
yeah,
Okay, there's
we'll talk
chakra
about
ray.
that at the end of this. Yeah, go on.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you've got chakra, you go like this, don't you? So if you're signing chakra, which you've learned through your mind, that's one code. It's one code. This, multiple codes. So when we integrate our multidimensionality levels of consciousness, we can then express the code through us, whether by voice or drawings or artwork or however it comes through, or by hand, you are expressing the light through you and then writing in a template. And when I sort of work, I see as if they are like screens, they're little screens or boxes, and they're sort of like come in different formats. There's bits that come over here. There's this central column of light there. There's different platforms that I work with, and you sort of visualize that within your mind of how it comes in. The beginning of it, when I first started, I didn't have a clue. I didn't understand any of it. But through the experience and repetition of understanding, working with people, you start to understand, like, that's what I'm doing. You start to remember what it is that you're actually doing and working on these screens. And for anybody that does have a little look at my Facebook, is that you'll see me doing reels and you'll just see me just for sort of 30 seconds to a minute signing. And I get a download of information, put a reel on. So I put a reel on, and then all these people getting bombarded with like little codes. But the codes, what they're doing, and as you well know, is it holds such intelligence with just a single expression. So all of that information that just comes through there would hold an encyclopedia's worth of information. we have no idea of how to interpret it to such a high degree. It'd probably take you a year to integrate all of that information and write it in a written word format. So the code is so powerful. Um, so Arcturian, I work with Arcturians an awful lot to upgrade people's level of consciousness. So we have a rite of passage to enable you to reach the next foundational level and phase of the evolution of the soul's journey. And what we can do is upgrade the system, and I know that you work like this, is that we upgrade and amplify so that people can then move through their awakening journey, their ascension journey at a quickened pace. You amplify the energetic field so that you can start to remember and switch on your inner light wisdom. So you start to remember what you are here to do, why you're here to do it, and the synchronicities start to come in. So the codes with Arcturians again are super powerful.
They are. I've actually got a scale. Oh, just speaking of, I actually find the Arcturians are, in terms of frequency, are the easiest frequency to work with. The Mantis are much more intense, and then for me personally, at the top, the highest frequency is the Andromedans.
Hmm.
But the Octrians are the easiest, kind of slightly more simple frequency. I mean, that probably sounds very condescending. Oh, the Octrians are a simple, basic frequency. I mean, they're much more advanced, multidimensionally than me. But the Mantis are definitely a notch for me up from the Octrians in their
Mm,
vibration and the way they work. Obviously, no, you were talking about when you're coding, yeah. I don't code with
mm,
my hands, it's just not part of my physicality.
mm,
But you know how you were saying how that coding can be bringing through not just sentences, but whole pages at a
mhm.
time, or even chapters.
Yeah.
I've got a story to tell you, but do you know what your mantis's name is? Because I know what mine is. And do you know what your mantis's name is? And have you ever tried asking it what its name is?
Do you know what, Alex? It's really funny, because we do work very similar but very different at the same time. And when I worked with you, and I took you off planet and we went up direct to source and things like that. We went up through portals and
I
it was beautiful because what I get is very different to what you get
mm,
in the sense of intelligence of seeing. So I feel see. So I don't see like you do. I think it's probably because it's just the way that, we work in so many different perspectives of understanding what it is that we do, that I'm not shown that yet. So I'm open to receive. I'm open to open to receive, but I don't hold, this is going to sound really funny, but I don't hold an awful lot of intelligence. It flows through me in such flow
yeah,
state
you're a conduit,
that
yeah.
that I'm more of a conduit and a pure channel where you hold the intelligence of data, information. So I haven't actually asked what the names are of my beingness. So I don't know whether you'd be able to bring that forward for me.
Well, I actually, it's not that I could bring it for you, but for me, the Arcturians are able to, shall I say, they use AI technology to computerize what it is they're saying into English, so I can find it downloadable into my dialect. Yeah,
Oh, I love, yes, yes,
so
yes.
they actually use an AI buffer.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay,
So
could
so
you
so, so
for
that's
me?
how they'll often. So I don't channel in the conventional way. They'll dump something on me. Yeah. Yeah, it's like in the Matrix when Keanu Reeves goes like they plug him in the thing and he wakes up and he goes, I know Kung Fu. Yeah, yeah. It's like that. I'll be in the shower, or sorry if that's a visual that people don't want to probably imagine, but well, maybe it is. I'm very good looking. But no, I might be cooking or something, yeah.
Yeah.
What happens is I'll get a dump.
Wow.
Suddenly it's there, and I'm like, I know Kung Fu. Oh my God. Guess what? Guess I'm putting it out on Arcturian channel tomorrow on YouTube or whatever. And then it's just there.
Yeah.
I don't have to. I am now bringing the Arcturian. I mean, I did it at the conference when I had to ask that when the woman said about the avians,
Yeah.
and I brought the Arcturian consciousness forward. I can do it, but usually it's just a dump, and I'm just like, off we go.
Yeah.
But going back to the mantis question, yeah. So this. I had to play charades with my mantis to get its name because there was a language barrier problem, and what the mantis was not doing was buffering with AI.
Oh, interesting. That, yeah, okay, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
So the mantis were just so it was this 12-foot tall mantis being, and it was just like, no, we're just going to deal with you direct. And I just was not getting it. I'm just not getting it. I just was not picking it up.
Do you know
And I
what
was
I've
like,
just got in my head? It's like as I'm asking, and they're going like, "Oi, you." Is that so? Because it's. Can you transfer? So okay, so the one thing, sorry to interrupt you, is the one thing if I know that I'm working with Mantis is I do 2 clicks. So and I know that is me calling in. So if I then said, then if we think about it in more detail, it'd be 2 clicks. You know,
well,
so that
that
would be then.
is very spooky. You just said that because that is a part of the story I'm about to tell you. Like the clicks is actually part of the
Okay.
story I'm about to tell you.
Yeah, go on then.
That is weird. So in my Arcturian, I can say, what's your name? Ear what on Shah? No problem at all, yeah.
Mm,
Same with other beings, yeah. In
mm,
fact, actually dead people are the easiest to get the names from, like oh Dave and Sally and whatever. Like I actually find dead people the easiest to work with because if you're a galactic medium, then you could be a medium. It's actually an easy transference. You
mm,
just flip your intention. People forget that, yeah. So any medium could be a galactic medium. They just anyway, I transgress. So there was this mantis being, and I was like, I was just in awe, and I was feeling that this wave of whatever its energy was, and I was just in awe. And I said telepathically, "What's your name?" And he was like, "We are transferring you the name now." And I was just like, "I am not getting this. I'm not getting this. Like, there's some problem here." I was like, "Okay." So I said, "Show me your name." I kid you not. This mantis goes into my visual cortex
mm.
and starts sifting through my memory bank for images. And then he finds what he needs instantly. Yeah, because these guys have an IQ of like 600 plus or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I kid you not, he gets out John Bonham from Led Zeppelin, the drummer,
yeah.
and he gets John Bonham to sit next to me in the woods where I was channeling and go bum ba bum bum ba bum bum ba dum da dum da 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 like Moby Dick. And I'm like, let me guess, your name is rhythmical, and this mantis is going like this, like yeah, yeah, he's getting it slow, but he's getting it. And I was like, okay. Like, and we had to play a game of charades. I was like, okay, is there more? Yeah. Like they nod. Like my mantis nods like this. Like, and I was like, is there more? I was like, yeah. And then I was getting this clicking noise. That click, 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 click. So it really clicked, just like you were saying, like clicking in my
Yeah,
ear. I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, wow, that's freaky. So like your name is a rhythm and a click. And they're like, yeah. I was like, is there more? And they're like, yeah. I was like, okay, go. And then he turns out this one had wings. And he was going, when like a hornet flies into your house at night because they're looking at the lights?
Yeah,
Well, when a wasp flies into your house at night, it's like, but when a hornet comes in, it goes like, it's like well, when the mantis is doing its thing, it's like encompassing like a kind of vibration, like an
yeah.
acoustic vibration. So I said, let me guess, your name is a rhythmical clicking acoustic vibration. And they were like, bingo.
Wow.
Like this one caught is eventually going to catch on. So So that's how and I was just like, there's no way I'm going to be able to pronounce that, am I? And they were like, no. I
Yeah,
was like, where are you from? And they're like, sending it to me. It's like, I'm not getting this. I like, show me. I have to get things visually. So
sure.
they put
Yeah.
a scorpion next to my feet, and then the scorpion went up into the stars. And I went, let me guess. You know what I'm going to say, don't you? Go on, you follow it through.
I did well. I did. So what? So I don't know the star systems, but there's a Scorpion. That so the star system. What do you put me on the spot? The Scorpio. So what is that star system called?
Yeah,
Because you
so
know Antares.
Antares is in the Scorpio constellation.
Okay. Yeah.
And that
See,
is
I
where,
don't hold information.
yeah. No, no, well, that's all right. You don't need to. Yeah, we all work differently,
Yeah.
but that's where some of the mantis come from. Not all of them come from there, but that's where some of the mantis come from. So, and
Interesting.
that's when, so that's how I got the name and then figured out where it came from. So what I would say is if you don't know the name of your mantis, just see if you can play charades with it, because that's how I managed to figure it out.
Yeah, yeah, I will do, will do. That's so interesting. That when the codes come forward, it's very much like click of the tongue. It's
Mm.
really so if anyone's coding with
Right.
the clicky, then it would probably hold that sort of energy of more that insectoid races.
Mm.
The other one that is very prevalent in my understanding, because I work a lot with emotional bodies and the physical body, is the Pleiadians. And so they have been teaching me throughout all of the sort of time since my codes came in years ago of how to actually heal the emotional body and to help people with their mental health. So they are more of my go-to. They're more of a code that would be more it holds a sense of angelic about them, but they are more nurturing sort of energy. So Mantis is more sort of physical body alignment with DNA structure. The Arcturians are more about the template upgrades to allow you to hold more consciousness. And the Palladians that I work with is very much the emotional state and healing the physical body from that perspective.
Mm.
So it invokes a lot of emotion. So when codes come up with the Pleiades type of frequency, it is very emotional, and I normally make people cry, which I'm not laughing at the fact that I am, but it's very invoking of the waters within. So I love working with the Palladians. It holds a softness about it. It seems quite a common sort of system, but they hold such energy it's very similar to human. A lot of a similarity of human.
Interesting, yeah. Well, I mean, they are I mean, we're the new kids on the block, but they are the second to new kids on the block, from my
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah.
Good old Pleiadians in the
Mm,
Taurian star system.
yeah.
And how did the Mantis come in for you?
Do you know what? Initially, they came in to the side in my healing room years ago when I first started coding, and I felt this massive presence within the healing room, and I thought, "Whoa, what is that?" So they presented them. So he presented himself. I was actually really very unsure what this energy was because it was very different to what I was working with. And within that energy, he told me not to say something to somebody that I was working with at the time, and I literally sort of just couldn't speak, and the everything just sort of shut down, the CD player, everything just went.
Mm.
So like radio silence. So I was like, "Whoa, what was that?" So I was presented with this energy, but what I kept on getting was that my hands kept on doing this. It was really strange. And I was like, why are they? So it was almost like I became the mantis as I was sort of progressing. Um, and then there were some life changes, circumstances that happened within my human life. And I found myself sort of taking myself off out of the family unit, and I was renting a friend's place, an apartment, and I was laying in bed and I was feeling quite sorry for myself at the time. And I'd been doing a few sort of mission works with this lady that I connected with, And then this being, this massive big force of energy came into the room. And I sort of had this sort of intelligence coming in saying, well, we want to integrate this aspect inside of you. So I was like, okay, this is a bit strange. But the energy sort of came in, but it sort of it filtered through the heart. So I knew that it, and obviously we must make, we must sort of look at our discernment to sort of see it's okay for these integrations. So I knew that it was all okay, as all is well, and and sort of working the purest of light. We must always ensure that. But the energy is so vast and expansive that it almost had to sort of try. Could you imagine, like, I'm probably about 5'6", trying to squeeze a double size unit into my energetic field. It sort of was squeezing itself in. It was going like, oh, it's a bit of a tight squeeze, and I couldn't stop laughing at the time because I had to maneuver my body to such a degree that I was like, oh, so I had to stretch it out.
Well, do you know what? I've actually got a funny story to tell you that I've never told you before, but it does involve you.
Mhm.
This is a funny story. It wasn't funny at the time, but it is funny now. But
Okay.
one of your ex-clients came to me, and they had done one of your integrations, and they were doing a bit of coding,
Mm,
and they'd integrated some of the Mantis, but they weren't speaking the light language yet.
mhm.
And they're like, do you know what? Do you think you could help me speak the Mantis light language? And I'm like, yeah, sure. So I did an activation, and her jaw just suddenly went, and it was locked, and she kind of went out of body, and she started going. I was like, "Are you there? Are you
Wow.
okay?" This woman was in America. And I'd lost her. She'd gone. She'd totally gone. They're like, she was like in a tunnel or something.
Mm.
And then she started doing the coding like this. Like, I can't do it. And then like that went on for like 10 minutes. Like, I was like, I'm just gonna have to just leave her to just go through this. I just quickly nipped to the kitchen and got a glass of water and came back and she was still going.
Still integrating.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like but her jaw had to almost unhinge itself
Mm.
and then like rehinge itself.
Yeah.
And so, no, you know how you were talking about how certain consciousnesses are so big, they can't get into a smaller consciousness, or they can't get into the physicality of a smaller light body.
Mm-mm-mm.
So this massive like rewiring sometimes has to happen. And so when she finally got through whatever that was, and then I was like, I was actually slightly concerned for a moment. And then the light language started coming out, and I said to her, I'm glad you're back. Like, what was that all about? And she was like, well, I did one of Nicola's things, but I hadn't quite encoded all of it. And she ended up doing it in my session.
Mm.
And it was radical to watch in
Mm.
real time. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Honestly, the times that I've had people go offline completely, like you say, you have to hold that energy for them to integrate it because it's such a shift in consciousness that we download in at
Mm,
once. So it's like you're saying, like a dump of consciousness that comes into the energetic field, but the physical body is sort of resonating at a vibration that sits here. Conscious connection comes in here, and you got to filter it in and download it into the
mm.
system. So it's like goes into overload.
Oh,
So
yeah.
so the consciousness of the soul comes out so that the integration can come in because
Yeah.
you've got to readjust the format and everything within the physical body that needs to shift to enable the code to come
Mm,
through the voice sits within the throat chakra that sits actually across the sinuses into the nape of the neck and into the jawline. So if I'm doing myself healing myself, I always go into here behind the ear,
that's
and it
interesting.
clicks in, but
Wow.
it moves into the nape of the neck, and so I do a lot of this because if we look at this head unit, it holds all the data that we need. But what the head sits on is the body. And it runs the extension of the head down through the body itself. So everything sits on the access point of the nape of the neck.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so it will naturally sort of move into the jaw. So it sits into the back of the palate, into the teeth, into the tongue, into the sinuses. So if anybody's getting up symptoms of upgrades in breath work for the sinuses, hearing, jawline, problems with the nape of the neck, headache as it reaches up into the crown,
Mhm.
all of this sort of physical body adjustment is adjusting to the consciousness that's starting to download into the system.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, yeah, so it's a natural process, but sometimes it takes stages and phases for the integration because it's such a vast connection.
Yeah.
So it's so if you've not fully activated it yet, then there'll be a second phase. And so obviously she went to me sort of like saw this, so I don't know the individual, but then it's like then you need to make sure that it fully adjusts and connects
Mm.
because you've got to get it clicking into place,
Yeah.
or else it's going to be just sort of like send you a
Fragmented.
little bit wobbly
Mm, mm,
energetically, you know. So it's important that you really consolidate the connection, and anchor it down into the heel. It's the embodiment
mm,
that is so essential. And this is what I teach a lot of is making sure that we understand our energetic flow. We know our minds, we know our body, but do we understand our energy flow?
mm,
And this is important for when we're rising in our vibration, that the physical body isn't sustaining or able to connect with the vibration because we're holding the data of the distortion of lower frequencies. So we've got to make space in the body, allow the energy to move through using your breath, etc., so that you can then really start to make space in the body so that we can then download this intelligence that we are. We're
mm,
starting to remember who we are.
mm.
So you speak about ascension symptoms all the time with the energies, the influxes that are coming in. And we must be committed in with our journey of understanding who we are so that
Yeah.
that then gets us online into mission so that we can do what we came here to do. You know,
Yeah.
we
No,
be
know
here.
thyself.
Yeah, know
Know
thyself.
thyself. Well, I mean, if you look at there was an American gentleman who came to our conference,
Mm.
and he said, I find this is a very lonely journey sometimes, and how can I find other people to talk to? And I said this is going to be very controversial, but the sooner you can stray away from the New Age and spiritual community, and keep leaning on an externalization, the faster you're going to make it an inside job, which is going to help you know thyself, which is going to bring faster integration. And I sent him, I mean, when I left the New Age spiritual community and just went on my own to become an experiencer, that's when it started happening really quickly for me. But the other thing I notice about the Mantis is that they are masters of coming into the holographic matrix and making alterations. And I'm going to give you an example of this.
Mhm.
When we were in Glastonbury and you were sat next to Shirley in her living room and I was sat on the other side, we were all just chatting away. And suddenly you went, "Oh my God, they're coming in. And they're coming in for you, Alexander." And you came over to me and said, "I'm gonna, yeah, these were not your words, but you're gonna do a dump." Like not a turd, but
No, I was gonna say.
I'm not going to do an energetic turd on you, but I'm going to do a vibrational download on you, a vibrational dump, yeah. And so it came on, and I was like, oh my God, it was so intense. It was nice. It was nice, intense, yeah. It was almost like a kind of mushroom trip. It was like coming up on like mushrooms or something, and so I had to lie down. As I said, do you remember I had to book a hotel that night? I was like, no way am I driving 3 hours back to London. That is not happening, not in this state. Like my body's just shutting down.
Mm.
So I woke up the next morning after having like an amazing 14-hour sleep. And I woke up in the morning I had to rearrange my clothes. I was like, I'm not back in London. I'm not near my laptop. Like what the hell just happened? And the Mantis had got in touch with my client to say, just rearrange. Something happened to Alexander, and they didn't know it was the Mantis, but apparently they came to them in dream time and said, "There's something that Alexander needed to do last night. Basically, can you just rearrange, and he'll help you at the end of the week?" And luckily, she was a medium, so
Wow.
she sent an insect. Told me last night, like we better just do this towards the end of the week. Can you imagine?
Honestly, you can't write this stuff.
I've
You
got an
have
even
to
better one. I've got an even
go
better one.
on, go on then.
So the way the Mantis came in for me
Yeah.
was I was in Portugal, which everyone seems to be going there right now. All these spiritual people. I don't know what it is, but everyone's going there. I love going there. Like
Yeah.
Adrian Lee goes there all the time. Like I think you've been there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
know. What's that? Christina Lopez lives there. There's loads of people who are going there. I was in Portugal and I was with my partner on holiday, and my partner said, "Should we have a nice glass of wine while we're looking at the sunset go down?"
Hmm.
So she rang up the reception in this hotel, the Pine Cliffs, and they brought up cafetiere, no, a cafe. It's like a half bottle of wine. I can't remember what it's called. Anyway. And on the bottle of wine was a praying mantis. I was like, what winemaker puts mantis on a bottle of wine? I thought that was so freaky. And as soon as I saw it, I was like drawn into it like straight away because you don't have to be all knowing, but if you can be all aware, it'll help you
Aware.
integrate with what's going on. Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I was looking at this and I was like, I was drawn in instantly. I was drawn in instantly. I was like, what? That's so weird. I was like, I knew there was a synchronicity coming in here. Anyway, and then we went to dinner. And we went to an Italian place just down the road from the hotel.
Yeah.
And I was sat there having a black truffle pizza. Oh, yummy. And my wife was having I think she was having sea bass or something, which is what she always has, bless her cotton socks. And we sat there talking away.
Hmm.
And we just played a game of tennis. And suddenly this, a real, a mantis being about this big, flies into the Italian restaurant. And I was sat next to a wall, yeah?
Yeah.
So they place us on a table next to a wall. And imagine the wall is here, yeah?
Yeah.
Right next to my head. Not my favorite table. I don't like on tables next to walls. So I'm a bit like claustrophobic. And I'm eating this pizza, and this mantis just suddenly flies right past my head. This massive like thing, and just sticks to the wall. I kid you not. You know what happens? This thing. I look at this, like I turn around, I look at this, I'm like, what the hell is that? And this mantis looks around and goes, and looks at me, and we look at each other. I'm like, what the? I actually, right. Okay, something's going on here.
Yeah.
Something's going on here. And then I went outside the restaurant and I said, oh my God, look at that star flashing at me, looking at that star flashing at me. And I got out Stellarium. It's like,
Yeah.
it's Arcturus, it's Arcturus. Look, it's trying to give me a confirmation that it's the mantis. And I got out Stellarium. No, and Taurus, where the mantis comes from. I was like, oh my God, I need to do something about this. Like, right, they're coming in. They're coming in hard. They're coming in hard.
Hmm.
And then you helped me integrate it. And then ever since that, I was doing like it upped my game doing psychic surgery. But
Hmm.
when they
Hmm.
came into my holographic matrix and I started doing things and like actually it's so spooky. It's like an ethereal, weird, spooky thing, and like they'll make things shift, and like they'll make a car suddenly turn left, and the car will have a sticker, mantis sticker in the back, and they'll make sure that you see it. Stuff like that. It's so weird and spooky, but magical when it happens. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that whole experience of that. I totally understand. I've had a couple of mantis come into my energy field, like my actual awareness. I went years ago into when I first integrated or awareness of a mantis. I actually I was on a yoga retreat, and there was one that literally sat on a glass on the middle of the table there. tiny little thing it was. It wasn't a big one. And when we went to Turkey, there was one at the top of a very big mountain at the top, and it was sort of sitting there. It was a mantis. So they do show up. They
Yeah.
do. But I agree with what you were saying in the beginning there, is that the universe is and levels of consciousness is trying to interact with us. And they're trying to show us information, but they do it with analogies. They do it with, pictures and synchronicities. And so, if we're open and aware of what it is that they're trying to show us, then we can then be open to receive. Sometimes it comes in with absolute verbal, like, verbal in your ear, where they literally speak in your ear, and it's like, who said that type energy. And sometimes it comes in so plain to see that it's almost like it's hidden in plain sight until you see it, and once you see it, there's no going back.
Mm.
You cannot you can't write it. It's just like it's the
Oh, yeah.
whole the whole adventure
Yeah.
of being human. The sync. The first time that I actually met you, we went down. You thought I was actually living in Glastonbury, and then I was like, no, I drove all the way from Kent to Glastonbury
Yeah.
to meet you, and we saw each other outside of the White Springs.
Yeah, we just bumped into you because we were due to meet later that day, somewhere else completely different. Yeah, we just somehow just found each other.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
is that Alexander Quinn there
yeah,
already? And you,
yeah. And the whole rest of the day was just spooky weird like that for the whole rest of the day.
yeah, I just
Yeah,
think
yeah.
it's fascinating.
The other weird thing that I love about when mantis people meet each other, you know what I'm going to say, but they trigger each other. Like when sometimes, like, I won't say who it was, but at our conference, like there was someone you really triggered, and then they started like coding like in the audience. I won't say who it was, but different mantis people can end up really triggering each other. Some mantis people bow to each other.
Mm,
I've seen them bow to each other, and it's not like an agreed thing. Like they'll just go up to each other and just know that we're meant to bow. They'll just do it.
mm.
It's just unbelievable. It's
Yeah.
so freaky, isn't it?
Yeah, and the recognition of soul to soul connection and sort of and seeing somebody and I've done it before. I've literally gone, I know you, and you just literally just need to go and hug. It's just like so crazy, and then you get tears come through, whether it's from the individual or we both cry together.
Yeah,
It's like, I know you. I know you so deeply, but I don't remember yet where it's coming
yeah.
from. And when you have a client sort of book in and then they sort of show up and they're like, and you're like, I know you. That sort of energy is so beautiful. I
Well,
love
it
it.
was just like, do you remember we had that session not long ago, and I did like my thing, and then I said, right now you take over and do your thing, and for some reason you had to take a part of my consciousness to a place which was like really far out on the edge of this universe.
Mm,
And we were traveling, and I was saying, "Oh my God, Nicola, I can see it. I can see it." Like, and you were like, "Yeah, yeah, I can feel it." And then when I got to this place, I didn't say anything, but you burst into tears,
yes, I
and I
did.
could see it. And as I was seeing it, as I was arriving there, you were bursting into tears at the same time.
Mm,
It
mm.
was so freaky. It was nuts. Like I'm even now, like that session was just crazy.
Yeah, I think that the way that that particular session works so wonderfully is that where I jet off into different wormholes and platforms and then I get permission to go into the next level and I move through and I don't actually see it. I feel see it, so I know it, but I don't at the same time because it's flow through. And when I worked with you, it was so beautiful that you could actually tell me where we were going. Oh my God, there's this planet. Oh, Nicola, we're going through this wormhole. And I could feel it in my body as we were traveling together, but it was almost like I was blind, but you was the commentator that 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 sort of showed us where we was at, which was so beautiful for myself of my own experience with working with you that I could actually um almost have a sense of peace within myself is that because the ego gets in there, doesn't it? Is like Oh, okay. So it is what I'm feel seeing because I'm not seeing it. So I thought that worked beautifully with that connection that is that when we come together, we fill in the places of what it is that we're not um um connected to, if that makes sense. So it's like you brought that aspect in so that together then we saw it more of a complete picture.
Oh, 100%, 100%. I mean, the mantis energy is really it's listen, it's a nice energy, it's a good energy, it's a beautiful energy. I'm not saying it's bad or dark or anything like that, but it's in your face and it's a very high frequency and it'll come in, it'll say, this is what you need, and it's going to be intense and you're going to take it. And some of your mantis energy was triggering my inner child wounding at the conference, and you're indirectly.
Mm, mm, mm.
Because there was some inner child wounding that I had residual that I had not let go of. And I was at the conference, I was saying, oh my God, I can feel Nicola's mantis energy triggering my inner child because another layer needs to come up. And it can be quite unrelenting. It can be really in your face. It's almost like moldavite, for example. Yeah, this is a big moldavite chunk of moldavite.
Mm.
Moldavite is quite relentless. And so,
Yeah.
so the mantis codes like really were triggering some of my those, and we talked about it later on that evening. But
Mm, mm, mm.
and it was putting up an emotional black mirror to a template, a black mirror to my emotional template, saying, "You're going to deal with this right now." And so I was having to deal with that in conference while I was watching you before I even went on stage. So the mantis energy, it's strong. It's strong, and it's I wouldn't say unforgiving, but it's like this is what you're good. This is what you need.
Mm.
You don't have time to deal with whether you can deal with it or not. You're going to download it, and if you
Mm.
can't download it, we'll drip feed it to you. But here we go.
Yeah,
It's you and it, boom, and it's no joke.
yeah. It surpasses the ego.
Mm.
It really does. It takes no prisoners in that effect. It's
It
like,
almost
oh, now
forces its way past.
yeah, yeah. And it's not that it's all is well energy with it. It's all okay, a soul level of understanding. But the ego will resist that energy
Mm.
because it is so in your face. Can you see it type energy?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, come on, wake up, come on, get on point,
Mm.
and when I bring forward sort of group work with my clients is and they come forward and it's like there is no more time for mucking about. Get out there, do your thing, be authentic, shine your light, and get on with it. Stop
Mm.
procrastinating. So sometimes I channel this information through to these people that are so committed on with their journey, and I love them dearly, and they are making a difference now. That they are coming online, and this is what we need. The evolution of our soul's journey needs to hold this type of energy.
Mm.
And this is why Mantis is coming more and more into our collective field. It
Mm.
is a very, very strong energy. And if you've integrated it within your system, you are able to hold it. But
Yeah.
the only thing that will hold you back is the ego.
Mm.
Every time, fear
Yeah, fear or trauma.
and trauma. Yeah. So we need to sit.
Something I've been meaning to say is, do you know who Emery Smith is?
No.
Well, this is going to be controversial, but he's a scientist that used to work at Area 51 and all that kind of stuff. But he was a doctor. He
Hmm.
was a doctor that trained in uh, working with ET flesh,
Huh?
samples of extraterrestrial skin and flesh that he was given to work on.
Oh.
And he's the only person that I have ever heard talk about meeting a mantis in real physicality, in real life. Because you and I are working with them in non-physicality, but he said it was a very tall, like 10 feet tall insectoid being
Hmm.
with an almost playful looking face. and they were having to heal an army guy who'd been badly injured somehow.
Hmm.
And apparently, this big insect being, I'm talking about real life now,
Uh-huh.
came into this underground military base in Area 51. This, so he says, yeah, maybe people believe this, maybe they don't. I believe it personally.
Mm-mm-mm.
And this insect being came in to heal this guy, and he leant over him, didn't touch him, and then Emery Smith said this insectoid started turning iridescent, and all these colors started becoming
Mm.
iridescent in the mantis's body as it was healing this guy. And this guy got up slightly unscathed off this table. I mean, he wasn't not like perfect, but he got up and walked away from whatever the damage that had been done to him. But apparently, as the mantis was doing its thing, it was turning iridescent, like all these rainbow colors. And I just always remembered that because it was the only time I know someone who's ever known or seen a mantis in physicality. And
Mm.
I just thought that was a cool little story to tell.
Oh, thank you for sharing it. It's interesting because as you're speaking about it, I get sort of like triggered into remembrance. And as you're speaking it, I was getting this sort of download of information that was coming forward, and I'm getting like a nod into, yes, absolutely. It's this sort of energy flow that is okay, that's interesting. What they're saying is there's like is that if we have an exoskeleton, the light that is shown on the external skeleton. If we're looking at a
Oh,
human form, we've got the skeleton internally. So the light flow would be seen if we actually sort of pulled the flesh off, would be exactly the same as what is in the sort of like a golden elixir would run through the physical body.
mm,
But if we look at it from an exoskeleton, it's shown on the outside. So it's the same
wow.
but different. So that's interesting.
Mm,
Thank
that
you.
is very cool. Yeah, I love it when I'm talking to you and you're like, oh, they're just saying something because I'm like that, but mostly with my Arcturian, it's more fluid for me with the Arcturian.
Mm.
I was wondering if there was anything else unless there was anything else you want to say, if we could wrap it up with maybe if you're comfortable.
Mm.
Um, if you wanted to do a little bit of coding or a little bit of like anything the collective need to hear, or a little bit of coding, a little bit of light language, or both, just any departing message that the Mantis want to bring through, would that be okay to
Yeah,
finish on?
yeah, absolutely. I feel
Or
an impression
I'll
of
just sit and watch.
yeah, okay. Now, I'm just going to take a quick drink.
Okay,
They're just saying that I need to clear my throat, so I need to do some codes on the throat
okay,
in a bit for myself. But let's see what we get through. Okay, yeah. So we're just setting the intention to bring everything forward for the greater good for the collective. So we always make sure that it's filtering through our heart to receive. And to receive these codes, just make sure that we breathe the codes in, that you are independent from this channeling that comes forward, so that you filter it through for your own divine expansion for the soul. Okay, thank you. Da sumaki ko shumakiato tanta aisha. Baba babu shumakiato ko lushmakiato und o lakiato to and o kraki en ashmakiata. Dara alo kushbat and eok ashbatata ane kwashmatata indakiata ta an. Solomo kolakiato and a kraki and o gramesi sumo koshmakiata. They're giving me information which is actually relevant to the Egyptian time of the scarab. There is a coalition between Egypt and the scarab, which is very interesting. Okay, we'll see what else we get. Push. Alagianta to all lucky and agioko ishbatana kiata dabesima kiata damoko. So we're speaking in transference of energy that is from that epoch of time. That is so this is the dialect that they are using. So they're translating from their clicky into this context. Okay, done. Tadisimukuluk yushpakiatatama subakiantova shumakiatant or lakiatatano goloba shumakiatam. We have been present upon the earth for many eons. Tadisimukushmakiatanamasiamakiatadasya. But they're quite funny now, they're saying, but we come very small nowadays in the transference of the information of where we are residing in physicality upon the earth. Da. Kiana dadu suk andok ushmatata neki o baba bashma yituk anamasu. Sanate toka anawashmakiatam boku lokushmakiatam. La lag ikwashmatata nekwashmatata ne ayoko kammokushma. Dant alukushpatiniki sukt analak aishmakiatan toka loshmakiatan amashumaki. Vangrebik unduk alabakiantadasha. There are many pockets on the earth that are activating into an alliance with that of the fields of energy that are already on the platform, meaning the what they're showing me is the areas of wealth of energy flow. So certain points upon the planet. And there are many beings, such as we, that walk the land, so grid workers that are watching here today. Know that the transference of energy that is coming from that of Mantis is running through you to enable you to upgrade the systems on the alliance of the earth to integrate into the system as pure conduits of light. So it is essential for humanity to walk forward with more purity of heart, which is then the call to the healing journey. The purer of the energetic flowing systems will enable us to amplify the gridwork systems to such a degree there will be an amplification and a quickening, thank you, of the timeline trajectory into peace on earth. It is essential for the individuals to work on themselves to such a degree in that committed stage to enable them to rise so that it's more pure. Okay, thank you. Gianadasimo kulok yanta kushpakianto vogorbistant ugorbisint agrginimokorabasha. There is an alliance of such a degree of many star systems coming together as a collective that work as we speak of, the all of the alliances of all of the star families. Darissima kushmatata negiaton to ullo shmakiata namasibakiata darissima kushmakit and shamakitana mbapapa shumadigabo shumagiata. So what they're saying is that regardless of the star origins or strength of connection, there is a field of energy that is being held by Mantis and the Arcturians to enable a stabilization of the energy around the Earth system. Regardless of what is your primary perspective of star family member, is that it is all supported under an umbrella of alliance. But it's essential that we ground the energy through us embodied so that we are this beautiful pin upon the planet so that they can work through us. So if we are working on ourselves, that we amplify ourselves by doing our work. We must be committed into anchoring that light as a pure conduit of light so that they can then sustain the energy and quicken. So I'm repeating what they've just said. So it's from my Nicola's understanding. So what they're saying is basically the message here is do your inner work. Get rid of that shadow, look at all of that work, get all that junk out, move it up into and storage up into wherever you place it, out of the energetic field, so you can get that clear space to download, like Alexander said, is to get a dump of energy in consciousness into the body. You start to remember who you are. And that message for everybody is, come on, guys, get committed. There's no more time for mucking about. There's no more time for identifying with this trauma or that trauma of your past. Yes, you experienced it, and I'm not belittling that, but it's now time for us to step up and really take on that beautiful connection with our star families, because they are here. They are supporting us, but we are also supporting them with their own growth as well. So that is the message.
Wow. Magical. Do you know how I feel? I feel like, in one of those movies where the couple have just had sex and they're like, let's light up a cigarette. Ah. Like they used to in the 70s and the 80s. Like I feel like, oh, that was great. Let's light up, man. Brilliant, brilliant. Oh, do you know
Oh.
what? I love what I do. I love my job. I just love when we, when we're all together, talking in together in light language, and our
Mm.
different galactic consciousnesses are working together, and spooky weird things start happening, and it's just like, oh God, it's just the little kid in me comes out, and I'm just like, this is why I love doing it, and I just feel like I'm 12 years old all over again.
It is. It's about having fun through the journey of it. It's we can get so serious of this and that and this and that and everything that's really dense about the earth. But the earth is so beautiful. If we focus on the light, we can be aware of all of the darker stuff, yes. But going for a walk up, sort of where you went in Wales and you had your holiday and you go and do your thing and you go and do your grid work bits and you go up the tour and you meet all these beautiful people and it's such joy to connect. You really connect and to
Mm.
be, and to really embody and to bring in that peace and joy into our lives, and to be on mission and to be of service to people, to assist them with their rise. The work that you do is so important. And, people are in need because they're searching, but it's okay to be searching. It's all right to be guided. It's all right to be assisted. But ultimately, we want you to be empowered to really step into how to do it, knowing what to do with your energy run. We can guide you to the cows come home, but are you going to take that sovereignty leap into be absolutely on point where you actually don't need me or Alexander?
That's what you know what? I was with a client today saying, and she was saying, oh, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Da da da. And I said, no. I said, I will teach you how to do it. Because in the Piscean age, it was all about going and seeing a soothsayer, a reader, a healer, and you would keep going back and they'd give you increments of information.
Mm.
But in the Aquarian energy, it's all about here are the tools, off you go, light worker.
Yeah,
Go and do the work. Yeah.
yeah. Absolutely. So we can sort of assist people in different phases of the evolution. So at the very beginning, they probably need a little bit more holding. But then as they rise again, then they start getting a little bit more integrating and then up here. And maybe sort of time to time, I have a lot of people come back to me to sort of get their upgrades. I had a lady today that, she can't talk to many people about the sort of the stuff that we talk about. And so, we do have these sort of points of
Mm,
connections still, and we have connection together and help each other rise. And we still have that sense about it, but ultimately we know how to do it.
mm,
I have a program which I call the 8 program protocol, and there's 8 steps to actually get you to that space. And you have many different programs that you hold within your own practices. And so however you get there, you know, work through it, get committed on with your journey and find out, is it meditation for you? Is it coding? Is it swimming in the ocean? What is it that really floats your boat? What resonates with you? And then just go and do it. And then intuitively it start coming online more and more and more. And then you step into your mastery.
mm.
You start knowing what it is that you do. Because in the very beginning, you're like, I haven't got a clue. But then as you do through the experience, you start to then rise like, oh, I've done that before. With the countless amount of clients that you've got
Well,
that you
it was like when I didn't know how to do I had to release something akashically from the DNA. And it was like when the mantis came in and they're like, start on the spine, do it like this.
yeah.
I learned from the experience, but I wasn't trying to analyzing it. I was just in my observational neutrality.
Yes. Yes. It is. It's observational neutrality, and it's you do it your way. You do it your way, and the way that you do it is the way that is right for you. So we can have a blanketed understanding of how I've done it and how Alex has done it, but how do you do it?
Yeah.
And yeah,
I spend my life telling my clients, you don't need me, you don't need my books, you don't need my videos, you don't need anything. You can do this already.
mm,
It's inside of you.
yeah,
But sometimes, it just takes a little trigger here or there. But everyone, you know what? There's not a person watching this, not a person who cannot do what me and you do. Not a person.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's really important for people to know that.
Mm.
Mm.
Dwashak hindi shun dondawiyara katara ashatar wariara sha diandandara shakatara diandanda.
嗯，大家都讲大的小狗小蛋，大概六十八磅，我的必须嘛，我的必须嘛，可是嘛，大的是嘛，个的必须嘛，可是嘛，啊，
Yeah, yeah, Joe, I've almost integrated what you just said, but you said something very funny, and I haven't quite latched onto all of it yet, but it was almost a bit cheeky. But
oh yeah.
after I hit stop record, I will figure it out, and I'll come back to you. I'm like, oh, that was cheeky. Nicola, thanks for
Beautiful.
being here.
Oh, my
I
pleasure.
love playing with other galactic people who have got galactic energy. It's always so much fun.
Yeah.
And I love it when it gets spooky and weird. And yeah, for those who watch this, if you liked it, let us know. Maybe we'll do it again. Um, Nicola, I'll speak to you during the week. Send my love to Thomas, who's upstairs.
Yes, I will
And let's
do.
both shout out, say hello to Shirley, who I know will
Oh,
be watching
Shirley,
this, who
Shirley and
made us
Ken.
meet
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
And everybody have a smashing Eclipse hangover. And we'll see you all soon. Bye for now.
Bye bye.